Well, with major trepidation, it's the 8th of February 2024, and our host streaming service, which is based in the States, a company called StreamYard, in the first time in 5 years, has had a major outage. No speculation, we're just going to say it's an outage. And as a result, we've tried a few other avenues such as Facebook and YouTube, but nothing beats being on StreamYard, where you get all the connections to all the different streaming platforms. Anyway, thank you for coming in and watching, and of course you'll see the down the very bottom there, all the way from Australia, just in white with those blue glasses there, from one of those Anturians. But I mean, one of his last lives there, you can see the photo. Looks like he's Apollo or Ares from the Greek mythology. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to my co-host, Andrena Forrest. And it's a good morning to you over there in the UK.
Yeah, the rain stopped and the sun is slowly coming through, and I'm coming live from Glastonbury today. So today is the 8th of February 2024, and it's another number 9 day. Well, you know me and my number 9s. So welcome, Michael Lamb. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to have you back on the show. I was just trying to work out, is this your third or fourth?
Seventh.
Seventh? You're kidding.
Yeah.
Flip. Really?
He's very popular. He's very popular.
Right. Well, you're seventh. Well, congratulations on being on the show for the 7th time. Anyway, welcome, Michael. It's lovely to have you back on again.
It's good to be back. Thanks for having us back on the show, Andrena and Jeffrey. It was fun there with the tech issues before, but yeah, man, we made it through, didn't we? How cool is that?
Yeah, I think the dragons have lifted off, and there was just a lot of ground rumblings going on. Right,
it's all part of the Orion Wars, you know, and the dragons and the Anunnaki not getting on real well. That's cool. I just made that up, you
know. Right.
East meets West.
For people that don't know you, that you've been on for your 7th time, maybe you'd like to share, because I know you're a man of many talents and you've got so much knowledge and wisdom to share. So would you like to give a brief introduction to yourself before we start talking about the dragons?
Oh, God, it'd be better if you did an intro for me. But yeah, okay, I'll do it. All right. Kicking in. Yeah, basically, as I was saying, all right, I started this work probably in my late teens, probably early 20s. So, yeah, where do you go from there? I mean, you come in, you know, I was quite insecure as a child, and I started working with the Eastern martial arts, built up some confidence. Blah, blah, blah. Met a phenomenal teacher back in my early 20s. His name was Bill Cook Edwards, and I started at the School of Inner Knowledge. We were doing a lot of metaphysical work and a lot of the energy work. So what many people would term holistic work. So a lot of dowsing and pendulum work, as well as, you know, belay and remote viewing, plus a lot of the psychic skills we're developing as well. Within 6 months, we're doing part of the Kabbalistic and Hermetic work, you know, Franz Barden and, you know, Leadbeater and Elena Blavatsky and a lot of that work. It was quite advanced, really, for the time. I didn't realize, but I loved it. I suppose some of the stronger areas that I've been doing, I was doing that for about 9 years, and then started my own work, you know, Bill passed on around 2000. So, yeah, I've been doing this 35, coming up to 40 years. I've just finished 3 big series of workshops over in Thailand, which is great. We've got some of the students and that we were working with when we were doing the Hermetic Tree of Life workshop. That was a 10-day program I did in Chiang Mai in Thailand in 2022, and then Phuket in 2023, and then of course went to Chiang Mai again, and we had a lot of international students, but we can get in that when we start scrolling through the pictures. So mainly the most important thing that we're going to talk about tonight was actually talking about the Year of the Dragon, the Wooden Dragon, ironically, which is my year. And it's an 8 year as well, which is 2024, which is 8. And wooden aspects, so you have the 5 elements of the Chinese, which is the fire, the water, the earth, the metal, and the wood. The wood relates to the air if you transcribe it back into the Western system. So wood is to timber and the tree in the Avian kingdom. So it's quite a powerful sign. So anyway, without getting into too much doubt and drama, I've been doing this work for a long time. So yeah, I've been employed many times as an advanced teacher or Kabbalistic teacher in hermetics and advanced healing and things like that as well. The modalities we do are quite fun, So you can see in that picture there, a friend of mine, Vanya, did that with AI. I really like that. I sent over some pictures, and that was the one he did there with the Apollo as well. There's a lot to cover in this program. We'll get into it later in the middle of the show. We've just released a documentary, but we'll get into that later. But let's continue with the aspect of the Year of the Dragon, how formative that's going to be. It was one of the years I was training there. That's one of the temples in Phuket. We were working there. It was a beautiful statue of Kuan Yin, and we had a massive dragon there, obviously a statue. I really like the Eastern dragons. So we'll talk mainly about the Eastern dragons rather than getting into many of the Western aspects because it's just a massive area and a massive subject. Obviously, dragons are linked back to many ancient cultures here. They seem to be a part of every culture in the world. Many of the ancient cultures will speak about the Draco dragons. That there is a white Naga. What happened to that picture, Jeff? Take it back there. Yeah, that's a Naga. Usually come as twins in the temples in Thailand, or might have been in Chiang Mai. So they're guardians, guardians of energy, the dragons. So Nagas are similar. They come through all the areas. Obviously, they started in the aspects of India and Persia and things like that. The Nagas are like a serpent spirit of the earth. It seems definitely is rather interesting.
I was just thinking, because not a lot of people know about the dragons or the dragon energy or how to work with the dragons. So I know it's your year with the dragon, but what would you say for people that, and this is like starting off very basic, really, in a nutshell, about working with a dragon, bringing in the dragon energy?
Basically, there's so many levels of the dragons. There's so many different types. You have all the different metal dragons, as well as fairy dragons. There's also the darker ones as well. Obviously, that picture there is Garuda, which is like part of this Avian battle between the dragons and the eagle. You'll get back into the feathered serpent. So getting it back to basics, I suppose. People would call in the energy, but they've got to be very careful. The dragon's probably the only mystical creature in the Chinese zodiac. Your 12 animals, from rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon. So the beings, dragons are very intelligent. They're obviously very advanced. They exist beyond our normal visible spectrum of vision. Our vision's only about here. So we start working with expanding our consciousness through clairvoyance or clairaudience. Obviously cats can see beyond the normal light spectrum. You come home, you can see that, cats will scope you out. Same with dogs, they have a higher hearing range than we do. Their clairaudience is very aware. So this is what we work on, the faculties such as, clairsentience, you get a feeling. So different people have got different sentient abilities that they work with. And dragons can help them very much so, particularly more, with advanced spells and magic and things like that. In the East, the dragon is a very benevolent creature. To each element, there's a different dragon sort of energy that's assigned, and there's records of them recorded in the great houses of the Forbidden City, and the emperors kept them. There's another Naga. They're very noble in the East, guardian spirits. So you have them on all four directions in every temple. So you'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, obviously to the north, the south, east, and the west. So most of the temples are doused to the 4 or to the 8, 12, or the 16. Done videos and that when you work with master masonry or masonic work, as it were. if you're building a temple, all the cathedrals are based in the directions. So they're royal and they have a very high intelligence, but you got lesser and higher beings connected. So if one was going to work with their energy, one would have to feel into it. So I wouldn't do it unless you really know what you're doing, because people's ego, it's like working with a Ouija board. My advice to you is don't work with a Ouija board. Summon the dragon. If you're not familiar with the energy, don't touch it. Other people have them as guardians right from the get-go, or they've worked with that energy from a previous cycle. Depends on the individual, really, what you want to do with it.
So with it being your year of you being a wood dragon, how is that gonna amplify everything for you?
Yeah, it's off the charts. It's incredible. Every day becomes very, very fluid, very, very active, and very invigorated. I mean, some of the days, the synchronicities are absolutely phenomenal. It's it's very hard to sort of describe. I feel it's like I'm living a month in a day and through the night, very awake, what we call, lucid dreaming. You're very awake and aware in the astral planes when you're sleeping and dreaming. So your dreams are very vivid. And you might, for example, if you're very familiar with working in the astral planes, you might have several days over on the other side, yet it only might take a couple of hours here. You might wake up tired, things like that, depending on what you're doing. Because, it's hard to sort of, I suppose, compare me to what average people, well, I don't even waken people. It's so many different multiplicities. So yeah, I have a very strong series of connections and synchronicities at the moment with a lot of the work I'm doing. I've had some great results with a lot of the practitioners when I was in Thailand, because they're very advanced with the Hermetic side of things. They're very serious in their training. So most of them have got a lot of different modalities under the belt. So that's good for me because I can work with them. I can take them into the more advanced aspects beyond advanced spirituality. We get into the Kabbalistic and Hermetic aspects of things. So it takes that really powerful, I suppose, connection to the, I suppose, all the elements at the same time, because each of the elements is assigned to a different body. And the dragon energy is something that's very otherworldly. I mean, you could virtually go into any culture in the world and you'll find these legends, these myths, these stories about the dragon, and they seem to be written off out of time as myth and fairy. However, it's been around for not just decades or centuries, but thousands of years. It's very strong. You can go to Scandinavia, you go to China, you go to Japan, you go to Central America, you go anywhere you want. You go to Africa, your stories of dragons. Dream surfing here, or Dreamtime, rainbow surfing here in Australia. Go right across, go all through the Polynesias. You can go anywhere. You go to India, you can go to Russia. You'll get the stories of the dragons. Go to southern France, anywhere you want to go. Right through Germany, all through the Eastern European cultures. The dragon is there again and again and again. So there's a lot of truth there. But it's like a level of understanding that's, it's almost like it's hard to grasp until you sort of start to work with those energies. And there's just so many different types of dragons that can work with you as well. So I love it because it's my energy, and it's quite powerful in many levels. And yet it's also very, very mystical. It's good to work with,
I think that's answered the main questions regarding dragons. And I think people are having, like, a lot of these things have been hidden from us, haven't they? So I think people are being more aware of what's going on and what's been hidden, and tuning into, learning or understanding more about the dragon energies or all of these type of things.
Yeah, they seem to go synonymous with the serpent energy. So you have these guardian spirits like serpents. It's an old saying, to be as wise as serpents. If you look at what the word hidden means, they use the word occult. That's what the word occult means. It means hidden. It's like pagan. It means the people of the country, the folk of the country. So in your spiritual ascension, let's say if you're doing tantra or any of the arts from anywhere in the world, you'll understand that to activate the chakras, you're literally doing a kundalini dance, and it's two serpents or two dragons, whichever way you want to look at it. And as they move, they start to spin and work with these electromagnetic transducers. So you're opening up the 7 main chakras. Obviously, we work with a lot more chakras than that. We open up our hands, we open up our soles of our feet. This is absolutely stimulate a lot of the health and the energy. So through the soles of your feet, you can discharge a lot of energy. And when we work with the Naga, particularly when I was in Europe, well, actually in Asia, probably more so, you could really feel the magic in certain places around the temples, and it feels like this serpentine energy. But it's the way the serpent moves. You know, it's like the dragon. It's the way they move. It's very, very powerful, and it's part of our brain. I mean, you have the bird brain, the avian, and you have the reptile, so cerebral and cerebellum. So it's actually wired into our DNA, and we're like a hybrid species. So it's from the Adamic line or the Adam and Eve line, if you want to look at that particular part of the culture. So yeah, the serpents are very, very intelligent. So it's part of your higher intelligence. So it's wired into you. I mean, look at your DNA. It's basically shaped like a serpent, or ratchets and spirals and spins, sidewinder sort of thing. You know, you could look at it like that. I mean, I'm just trying to break it down and make it simple.
Yeah, no, I just thought we need to do a little simple bit before we go off on a tangent.
Yeah, we've already covered about 50 tangents. That's good.
Right, so working with the dragon energy, obviously, like you say, it's not something you just call in, and you need to sort of read up about it and understand it more. But for myself, I'm an ox. So how is the dragon energy going to help people that are not dragons, if you like?
Well, as I said, when you start working with spiritual energy, or zodiacal energy, astrology, astronomy, you're working with the 12. So in the Western tropical zodiac, or sidereal or Vedic, you're working with the 12. I won't use the Mayan, but let's say the Chinese. You're using the 12. So the 12 represents the 12 numbers of the clock, okay? So it's time. So our sun goes through the 12 signs of the zodiac. The old Chinese one's much, much older. You're going back 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years. So it's an older part of star systems, when, the precession and equinox is slightly out to another series of star systems, obviously moving through, different star systems, or rather than the 12 of the zodiac. So if you're an ox, okay, you're steady and methodical, but you're still a number on the 12. So it's like numerology. It's like you're working with a 9 today, you're working with an 8, or working with a 4 or a 3 or a 2. That's what's relevant. So every 2 hours of the day, you're being affected by a particular sign. So if you look at the 24 hours of the clock, now this is interchangeable, east and west, north and south. Look at, let's say there's 24 hours in the day. All right. So every 2 hours, you're basically changing one of the 12 signs. So, and if you look at your sign, even if you look at the Western zodiac, you are born under this sign. Let's say you're a Pisces or an Aries. All right, let's have a look at that. And then you'll have a series of the planets and where they are being influenced by other signs. It's mathematics. That's how it works. Same with the other elements. The same if you get into really deep Chinese astrology, you'll have an aspect of the ox. You might have a little bit, of the goat, sheep, or you might have the dog, or the bunny rabbit, whatever. It'll be a combination thereof. So you're actually made up of all the ingredients, as it were. It's not like it's just a cut and dried. Okay, for example, you're a metal ox, and you might be, very methodical and, quite stubborn, or whatever emotional aspects pertain to your personality. That's the aspect that we're really talking about when people are going on their, they're starting on their spiritual path, or their ascension, or whatever, allergy you want to call it, algorithm. When you're working through that, you become adaptable and flexible to other systems, and you're sort of moving with that flow, that movement. So, with the ox taking on the dragon energy is fantastic, instead of just being like the buffalo or the bison or the bull. Yeah, you can get into that real. You just basically polymorph and shapeshift into the next level. That's what you do. You just do a jitterbug, because you're everything anyway. You're made of stardust. Look, there'll be predominant energy in your life. I mean, you're predominantly female because you're in a female body. Jeff's predominantly male in a male body. So you'll have that. However, if you're going through a feminine aspect in your life, you're going to draw that energy in. You know, it's still going to be electric and magnetic energy. Either way you stack it, it's still going to come back to the 5 elements. So, you know, I think realistically you look at that, you know, now everything's sort of set in stone with your personality. And, you know, you look at your personality being your soul, you know.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, like where they talk about the 13 moon astrology is like having an aspect of each of the sign within you.
Yeah, you're a combination thereof. You know, it's like your personality. It's going to be subject to whatever philosophies or religions or where you grew up. And then you want to break away from where you grew up or your schooling or your peers and, you know, when you went to high school, whatever. That locks a lot of people in. Some people don't move. They'll stay in the same, you know, the same village or the same town or the same city all their life. Whereas if you get out and get international, you're taking on other flavors. You know, you're breathing in life. You're essentially adapting, and you're growing physically, mentally, spiritually, you know, and of course etherically. You're adapting. You're growing into many different aspects of yourself, and you're learning what you like. I have a saying: to know who you really are, you got to, you know what you want, and to know what you want, you got to know what you don't want. So obviously, you follow these, I don't know, relationships or, you know, failings or whatever. But if you're trying different aspects all the time, you're constantly growing. So that's part of the fountain of youth that you're accessing. And that's in, you know, that's my opinion, but I don't feel I'm so locked into things. And yeah, dragon's very much highly venerated in the East, very much so.
Right. Excuse me.
And don't forget Wales has got the dragon. It's on their flag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Red and green, isn't it?
Yeah, the red dragon is there. It's in a lot of cultures. It really is. It's very, very deeply hidden, and it's very, very powerful. You know, it's most of the hidden cultures around the world or secret societies. Dragon's usually the head of the clan. They'll have like a chief dragon. Yes, the Wales flag, the Welsh flag.
St. George and the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a few pubs in England called the Dragon.
Yes. No, I'm sure you've visited a lot of them, Jeff. I'm sure, Jeffrey. Sure. It's good. Back.
Would you like to talk about excuse me, your new production with the Alchemy Pathway to Profound Powers? Would you like to bring that in now? Because you've won, for that documentary, you've won 10 awards already.
Yes, I have. Well, I have. We've gone through a lot of that. It's how do you describe that? Wow. I'm just bringing up that. Yeah.
Over to you, Michael.
All right. Let's be colorful. Okay, we started filming 2 years ago. Sharon Rowland got in touch with me. Ironically, it was the same month that Mark Rasmus got in touch with me and said, listen, you know, I'd done this podcast on the Hermetic societies around the world, and they really liked it, you know, because they had a different take on things anyway. But getting to this documentary, the documentary Alchemy Pathway to Profound Powers has been made by Sharon Ann Rowland at Weird Stuff and Friggin' Magic.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a brilliant name, isn't it? She's phenomenal. She's an absolute genius. She's incredibly patient and very, very creative. All right. And the production house is now streaming on Tubi TV, which is a European-based company, has over 70 million viewers.
Really?
Yeah, so this is the spirit of the streaming services. So if you want to find out more about the documentary and the protagonists and interviewees, please go to www.ws-fm.com.
Yeah,
With
just
Friggin' Magic Productions. Yeah, there you go. You brought up the site. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Yeah, so it goes through all the protagonists there. There were some brilliant interviews as well. And if you connect to Tubby, you can see the actual, the stinger, the advert for the documentary. Christian Matheson there, as you've interviewed before.
We had him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep scrolling through. It's interesting. Yeah, the documentary goes for a good hour and a half, and it's a basic introduction into alchemy. Sharon's done a really good job of the production. So you download the app for Tubi or Tubi TV. There's Vesna Sevgoska, and then there's our friend David Monahan. There's me, yours truly. She asked me to narrate it, and it was a brilliant production. So it took us nearly 18 months, I believe, to film, and finish all the shooting and all the studio sound recording. It's quite powerful. We did it on quite a few different locations. And yeah, it's won 10 awards. It won the Hermetic Film Festival. Here he is. Who's this fellow? Yes, it did. It's interviews with a lot of people that are practicing alchemy and doing things in their own way, whether they're musicians, authors, writers, and or martial arts practitioners of Qigong or Tai Chi. And they've usually got quite a few holistic skills under their belt as well. So yeah, and they will move into the alchemical side of things, which is transmutation. It's a metaphor. Alchemy is alchemy, and al is Arabic or Arabic for chem, which is the old name for Egypt, out of the land, the way of the Egyptians. We're not talking about the classic Egyptians. It was like originally Egypt was, from the Atlantean. So we're going 36,000 years ago. There's the Magic 7. Brilliant speaker. So I suggest that you have a look at this documentary. It's an absolute masterpiece. Yeah, we did a lot of work, and Sharon's a brilliant director. She's also excellent at editing, and yes.
Yeah, no, I watched your little introduction, but I will watch it later on.
Yes, absolutely.
So when did it actually go live then, when it was all finished? How long ago?
They finally picked it up. Sharon asked me, can you do some magic to get this thing picked up? Because it was really close about 2 weeks ago saying that this company, Tubi, was going to pick it up. And, they're quite big in Europe and the UK with a live streaming service. So like a Stan or an Amazon or a Netflix or something like that. So that, you can stream obviously TV shows and movies and documentaries and, animation along those lines. So, yeah. And I said, yeah, I'll do what I can do. And then, it was this Saturday, just the last Saturday. I was at the beach with my beloved, and it was incredible. I picked up my phone and missed all these calls and everything like this. Oh wow, what's going on? And I was out of range. So it was Sharon, gets through to me. They picked it up. Tubi's picked it up. We've gone live. We cleaned up with the awards. We got awards in Paris, Los Angeles, Hermetic Film Festival. It's incredible. Just have a look at the diagram. If you look at the main poster shot, which is Sharon and the 10, awards that we cleaned up with, which is cool. I mean, we kept cleaning up on these awards. I was going to put them up all separately, but don't know if we had time now.
No, that's fantastic. What an achievement.
Yeah, it's we've had really good reviews from it so far. I mean, to get those awards, we won a lot of a lot of laurels, a lot of it's beautiful.
So what are you going to do to follow that then?
Pardon?
What are you going to do to follow that then?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm starting a lot of live streaming work. We're doing a lot more workshops and retreats this year, working with Manuela Hecht, and we're working on a lot of projects. I've got some more workshops coming up in later in the year. Plus, I've got my live streaming. I have a lot of international students that they book in sessions with me. There'll be some of those. I think we'll bring them up in the shots that I sent through earlier. Yeah, I've been asked to do another documentary. I'm only just being interviewed this one. I'm not narrating it, on the astral traveling and waking up in your dreams, as it were. So obviously I'll be interviewed to people having issues that they're remembering their dreams, but they're not knowing the techniques, the right way to wake up in your dreams. Because let's face it, dreams are basically a third of your life, and it's part of your soul. Your soul is going to be talking to you in the language of light, or symbolism, which is basically symbolism, and metaphor. So understanding and remembering your dream is the key. And the deeper you go into your dreams, you start to dream and wake up in a dream and wake up in a dream, like the pretty movie Inception. When in the dream, within the dream. So I've had that quite a few times, and also remembering the dream. There's techniques that we use, that we teach, obviously in Hermetic Alchemy, so people can remember and recall their dreams, so that it's it's a part of your life. It's your soul telling you what's going on. That's what's actually going on.
That fascinates me, dreams. I've always been a dreamer and writing it down, like in the morning. I've always got pen and paper by bed, and I know, like, say I might have been out in a dream somewhere with Carol, and then the next minute I'm telling her about the dream where we were out together. So that happens a lot, where I'm from one dream to another, sort of thing. And yeah, so for years and years, I've always written down my dreams, and some that I do come and I'm aware of. And people say, well, how did you feel in that dream? Because like sometimes I come back and I think, God, what was that about? And like I'll discuss it with Carol, and it doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah, Carol says weird stuff. Look at the words wired. We're wired weird, or we are wired differently.
Yeah, that's right. As I said, it depends on, a lot of your own makeup, which is your soul, because you sort of come in on numeric, or, color, sound, number, shape, and vibration. That's what makes up, the consistency of ourselves. So the soul is more about your life. People are asking me about the difference between the soul and the spirit, and it's always a big question of contention. So we train in these areas, so we develop a lot of the astral body, so that your astral body is quite resilient. You start working with different muscles of the astral body, because the astral body is the soul. It works more to the liquid energies of magnetism, and it's also quite fluid. When you're in the astral planes and you're traveling through astral planes, you can access other worlds. I mean, I show a lot of the students when we're working about the different mapping out, because you have different planes and dimensions and different spheres of influence around that have a lot of energy and connection. So they have a different density, as it were. So it's like if you're moving into your body. We use these meditation techniques. I mean, obviously, we're not just sitting in the silence of our meditation. We do energetic meditations where we're building and developing a lot of energy. So if you want to build a lot of energy to work with your soul in your dreams, you're better off working with liquid energies, such as the energies of the moon, because that's when the magnetism is more powerful. The emotional energy is magnified. So the moon controls moods. Okay, the moon controls moods. So any law enforcement agency, any medical professional will tell you on a full moon, they get a lot more crazy stuff happening. They have a lot more accidents, a lot more the whole thing. It's science. It's not like some mumbo jumbo. It's the real deal. So when you understand that, you're understanding about energy in motion, which is emotion. Energy is the fifth element, the ether. When you understand, you can layer this out. You can map out your body a lot faster. And also, with the astral plane, your soul, it's the layers of fluids in your body. A lot of people think, the soul's some sort of, metaphysical thing. But look at your blood. I mean, look at your blood. It's the vital force in your body, all right, from your heart. And your
Blood.
heart sphere is bigger than your mind, yeah, more powerful. So your blood and your perspiration and the plasma that heals your skin and all the liquids in your body, that's the makeup of your soul. It's all liquid energy. But there's always these densities. I mean, look at your sexual fluids. You could create another life like that. So what's happening there? Tantric energy, you'll go in deeper. You'll understand all these incredible fluids, creative energy. So you're tapping into the soul. And the soul is more about an overview of your life. They're the most important thoughts. It's different to your mind. Your mind is more to the air element. This is, Hermetic training, obviously. And whereas soul is more to water, air is more to the mind, obviously the physical body is more to earth, and the spirit is to fire, the sun, an immortal being that, we are, that we truly are. But the spirit can't have an incarnation without a physical, mental, and a soul, astral body. You can't incarnate without those three. So when you separate it, you get to understand it's all about the elements: fire, air, water, earth. So if you want to amplify your experiences, I mean, most of the water signs are very, very psychic people. Your Scorps or your Pisces or, or your Cancerians,
I'm a Scorp.
Yeah. Pardon?
I said I'm a Scorp.
Yeah, Scorpio. Yeah, exactly. And well, Scorpio is a really powerful liquid sign. Phenomenal. If you've got like a lot of psychic ability, you have a lot of sex drive as well. So that's a drive, and it's very, very powerful. And it's, if you've got a lot of healing, abilities, you have a lot of more fluid moving through your being. And Scorpios, very, very perceptive. They're really your psychic detectives. But anyway, that's overgeneralizing. We don't want to get into that. We want to get into the specifics of the bodies, and we want to be able to help people that, want to develop their own energy, as holistic practitioners, as it were.
I'd like to ask one more thing about dreaming, because when I wake up in the morning, my dreams, it's like my head is, I think, it's so full of dreams, but I don't know what they are. I might have glimpses. So what's that about? Because sometimes my head is so full of what I've been dreaming about or wherever I've been, but it's, I think, flip, what in the hell been going on there?
Well, you're overwhelmed because you can't decipher which one's which, and there's too much in my head. Well, number one, before you go to bed, this is what we train in Hermetics and alchemy, Hermetic alchemy, because we transform. We command before we go to bed, I will remember my dreams. I will wake up in my dreams and I will realize I'm dreaming. And when you're awake on the other side, you're actually lucid dreaming. It's the same as remote viewing. You get very, very good at it because you develop it. Some people have it from an early age because they've developed it in previous cycles or previous incarnations. So you need to be very specific about what you're doing. What I did before, you notice I had this bottle of water, all right? So if you have a glass of water by your bedside table, command, because water's to magnetism and water stores memory, as we know through Dr. Missouri Emoto's work. So get a sip of water. Now drink it so about half full, drink it. I will remember my dreams. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to take another sip of that glass and I'm going to recall all my dreams and I'm going to understand or recognize what the metaphors are. Now, if you practice this, it's not like you're going to get it overnight, but if you practice it, you'll learn. And this is working with the elements. Once again, most people, they don't understand the power of the elements. The amount of energy that you can build is beyond the physical, mental, and astral planes. Absolutely phenomenal. That's when we get into the energy of the spirit. You can tap the energy of the sun. Massive amounts of solar fire you can just draw into your being. I mean, there's sun gods written about all over the world. Who the hell are these sun gods? Solar angels. These are beings that know how to attract a lot of energy, a ridiculous amount of energy. So what are they doing? They're wearing certain stones and certain metals that'll attract that energy. I mean, the metaphysics is simple. Same with like if you've got a dream catcher, you weave it there, you've got a symbol or something there, you want to capture the dreams. I mean, not that you want to hang it on the rear view mirror of your car. You know, you need to hang on to their dreams in the car. Maybe you do. But if you do it over your bed, it's something that's going to attract that kind of energy that you can work with, as it were. You know?
I know I listened to somebody talking and they said, working with the 5 elements, that when they saw somebody walking in, they could tell what sort of person they were, you know, whether they were water or they just by their movements and actions, which I found quite interesting.
Absolutely. It becomes so in part of your nature. You're not just reading the body language, you can feel their energy. Same as in your room. And you walk in and someone doesn't like you. I mean, really doesn't like you. If they hate you or there's jealousy, you'll feel it. You don't get it in the head. It's not in the mind. You'll feel it through the solar plexus or the navel chakra. That's where you'll feel it. That's where you feel energy, you know, empathic and telepathic thoughts and energy. You'll feel it. So you start to work with how energy works. Energy is the 5th element. E, you know, is the 5th letter of the alphabet. So each of the elements, when you're working with the ether, or the metal aspects, you start to understand this incredible source that's beyond us, the source field, or, you know, some call it prana or mana, or, you know, vril or chi energy that you can access. And when you start to develop it, it's really good. I mean, you might have those skill sets already. It's just working with that which helps you progress. You know.
Right. So what other tips that can help people along their pathway that you would, you know, because obviously there's, I mean, your knowledge is so vast and I know we can go off, you know, on different. So I'm just wondering what you would like to share today.
Well, I shared some pictures with Jeffrey earlier, and I had some of the students that we've worked with and trained with when we were in Chiang Mai, and just showing, you know, the ability to develop a lot of energy there in the room, in the dojo where we were. But it's more of a training area. I mean, could you be a bit more specific? Because it's so broad an area, it's a broader question. I mean, we were building energy. So let's say we're building the wind element. So you have another student opposite you. So you practice, you build air, and you feel the wind. So it's on your face. So the students feel it. Yeah, that's the Taurus. Okay, so you work. Just hold that picture there, please, Jeffrey. Thank you. Okay, so that's the energy field around you. This is a Taurus. Does everyone know what a Taurus is? Do you know?
Well, I know it's the energy field and it's aligned with our heart. So if you would like to give us more information.
Yes. Okay. So you see a circle is a 2-dimensional aspect. Then you have a sphere is 3D. Now the Taurus is 4-dimensional. It's the way things grow in this material physical plane. Look at an apple. It has that round, you have a dimple on top and a dimple underneath. It's the way a baby is born. You know, it's the same as an orange. The Taurus is the 4D, and it's the same as your energy field. It comes from your heart, but also in your mind as well. There's a lot of energy there. So this is basically what Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man is showing you with that circle, you know, going from 4 dimensions into 5, you know, moving into the 5th dimension. So the Taurus is a 4-dimensional sphere that gives you access through your own pranic tube, which runs right through your spine and accesses all your chakras. So you're at the center, and then you have north, south, east, west, plus up and down. So it's giving you the 7 directions, not 4. You're 4D and 2D, and then you move into up and down, which is like 6. And the Taurus field is your energy field. So when we're training many of the other practitioners, they learn to develop or build their auric field or their energy field or their holosphere or their atmosphere around them. So they're developing through color, sound, number, shape, building it. So each of your chakras, as you move up, you pulse it out. You pulse it into your atmosphere. So that's like the energy field around you. It's like your own personal space. So you develop it and you get strong and you develop it so that you have a very powerful energy field. Yes, that's Chiang Mai, all the students practicing building energy, and we work on different elements. So we're building earth. Each of the elements is going to have positive connection to each of your emotions. If you're working with positive earth, it's going to be confidence, it's going to be strength. Negative is going to be doubt or guilt to earth. So you want to be able to balance negative emotions and bring in positive emotions. There's some of the training there we just had a look at. Fellows developing one of our classes. It was one of Mark's. That was
There's a lot of men in your classes, I noticed, which is nice to see, because I know like some groups or workshops is mostly more ladies than men, but I can see it's the other way around in your groups there.
Yeah, a lot of these fellows are working with Qigong and Tai Chi. I mean, when I was doing like the early developers of my class, so you get a lot of, elderly women, a lot of spiritual women, readers and so on and so forth, or, healers. But when you get into the more practical side, these people are developing. There are some, beautiful women that come along. They're fantastic. They're very good at developing the skills, but they're working a lot with the physical. So we're building it in our bodies. It's the principles of the advanced martial arts. When you're younger, you look at these martial arts, fourth and fifth dan, these incredible warriors, and here's this old bearded monk with a beard that smokes a pipe and just throwing these fifth dan black belts around the room like toys. And that's the kind of energy, because they're developing their chi, their vital force, and they're using massive amounts of expansion and contraction in their own physical body, because your soul, mental, body, and spirit all laid into your being, in the etheric web. So you're expanding through each of the joints. So you're expanding energy. So this is two of my students here, and they're practicing. They're building energy. So just keep that picture on there. And what they do, they build it, and then they send it through to the other person or the other training partner, so that they get to feel it. You're actually building energy that you feel. I mean, we're not doing grade 3 light worker work here. This is seriously powerful practice. We're building elemental energy, and we're drawing it from the elemental spheres. So it's on the way to, the way of the Magi, or, the way of the ancient, mystery schools. We're actually practicing it. So you've got subjective and objective energy. You're not just imagining things. You're actually building energy through imagination. Imagination is visualization. So the power of your visualization, your ability to bring that energy in, see it, know it, breathe it, taste it, feel it. So they develop a lot. So these fellows are working more with their chi, or their real energy, and their training. So they're developing this, and you've got to have an effect with it. Sometimes if you're not doing this, you build it. And if you're doing earth, you'll ground your opponent. If you're building air, you push them away, or if you're building fire, you've got a lot more explosive or expansive energy. And if you're building water, you're using massive amounts of compression back into your body. So obviously this is a very easy way to explain it. Some of my students, absolutely phenomenal fellows from all around the world there too. We had a massive international crew there, from every continent too. So they're represented, and they invest a lot of time and money and energy to come along, but they seriously walk away. You don't get any complaints, that's for sure. They've developed where they're not going to get it. It's like a secret mystery school where they're training, and they get to feel energy. And also they get to learn how to, psychically shield and protect themselves from, negative emotions. It's a vast area that we cover. We're obviously not for the beginners. No. Just keep that picture on there. That's Sifu Mark Rasmus and one of our students, Koresh, and he's just floating in. If you have a look at the picture in detail, it's just floating along. So you're using the elements. This is the way the masters do it. So we're developing that.
Wow.
So we're working with metaphysics, and I've sort of worked away a lot more from the martial arts. I mean, with Qigong, you're building a massive amounts of energy, but it's internalized as well as externalized, and you're learning, and you're becoming familiar with the elements. You become familiar with the elements. It's the makeup of everything. I don't care. You can go down to the atomic level. You can go to the galaxies. It's still going to come back to those 5 elements. Metal, of course, being the key, because we're running all the metals through our body. I mean, you've got iron running through your blood, calcium, copper, magnesium, selenium. We're running all the elements through our being. So that's why the 5th element, metal, in the Chinese, it's like this mystery. Why the metal? Why is it so powerful? I mean, look at conduction. Silver and gold. They're highly powerful conductive energy. And more we get into metaphysics, I talk more about, crystals and how powerful they are. I mean, it's not by accident, it's not some mumbo jumbo. I mean, the phone and all your computers are also running on silicon technology. We're going from carbon-based technology into silicon, the silicon age. And look at, that's me teaching in Phuket there. Just have a look here. We're talking once again about the Taurus and the flower of life and the tree of life and the seed of life. I mean, I talk really fast because there's so many channels that you can just run. It's not like you're a schizo. I mean, that's an understatement. You just run and tap any energy you want. Plus we're also looking at the mathematics of it as well. So it's not like it's not backed up with the science, or obviously, the physics, the biochemistry, and the aspects that are related to all the different sciences. But you got to be able to back it up. That's what we're trained for. So people invest in the time when they come to the workshops. Go to the retreat, work in. The people are fantastic. The energy is epic, and we do a lot of energy work. And it's not like you've got to be some martial artist genius. I mean, many of the girls come in and they're fantastic healers. That's some of my pricings there. When I train, I do one-on-ones. So if you want to book a session with me, please get in touch with me. My website is michaelsalchemy.com. And yeah, I usually do 1 or 2 hour sessions. I have a lot of international students that train with me, and we develop a lot of these skills. You get, people ask, I want a remote view, for example, or I want a dowse, or I want to learn to use measuring sticks or something. Whatever we work with, because it all connects. People will say, "Oh, how do you bless a room?" or "How do you remove negative energy from a room?" Also, you can use the basic aspects of, aromancy and, saging or whatever. But also, if you want to impregnate a room with your energy, let's say you got training, you want that energy there so that your students are learning, in a learning environment. So you're amping that energy up. So, you'd bless it with the 4 elements. So you build a lot of fire, a lot of water, a lot of air, a lot of earth, and then you project that out of your body into the physical, mental, and astral plane in the room, so you impregnate it. And then if you've got, powerful, obviously, statues, or, depending on whatever, deities or whatever there, or, you're charging or bolting certain stones, or certain, weapons or whatever that you might be using for things, you're blessing them. So, the magic actually becomes real. So the word magic is magnetism. So we don't live in an electric magnetic unit. We live in a magnetic electric universe. So magnetism is the way of the magi. Who are the 3 magi? There wasn't 3 kings visited Christ. There's 3 magi, 3 magicians. So what? It's all in metaphors anyway. And it's the same in every story, around the world. If you look at deep in the legends, you're going to find these stories about certain elements that are very, very powerful, that are, going to help you on your pathway. Whether you're going to be a Reiki healer, or you're going to work in a kinesiology, or if you're going to be, a great speaker or orator, whatever you do, you might be a mechanic. It doesn't matter. You adapt. Look at the best people that communicate with animals. They're whisperers, they have that connection. So they can develop all their skills and energy, and refine them, really pinpoint them. And so you just keep developing, let it be that, for example, you would go into a meditation and just create, you might want to create wealth, in your life. But, with wealth, you want your own health to be really strong. Do you want to be able to telepath with other animals? You can do that, depending on what you want to achieve. And, be specific. With anything you ask, be specific. Yeah, dozens of these light workers. Oh, I want abundance. I want abundance in my life. What do you want? Abundance of pain and problems? What? Be specific. Nail thing. I was like, God, man, it's like, that's what I want to work with again. I mean, I love them, but you want people at least at an intermediate level. We work with the training. Otherwise, I don't want to explain what a command is. As you say it, so shall it be. It's the belief. So the word belief means be alive. You're alive in it. You're not going to manifest if you're not in the sweet spot. It's got to feel right. Bang on. You're in the zone. You're creating from there. Good
So
health, good work.
you've got a workshop or is it an on Zoom class? Is it next week starting? I saw somewhere.
Yes, yes, we do. If we could bring that up. Yeah, introduction into Hermetic magic, and we're taking it to 10 days. Manu Hecht, she's working, working together. Introduction into Hermetics, and it's for practitioners only. If you're a holistic practitioner, we recommend that. It's a 10-day program. It starts at Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Hermetic, Higher Hermetics. That's my one that you've got there. So
that's
the one,
is it?
yeah.
Well, anyway, you've got a workshop on Monday.
Yeah, Monday the 12th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times. It'll be 9 o'clock here in Queensland, or 10 a.m. New South, Victoria, Tassie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 10 a.m. It's kicking off there, and obviously just add or subtract wherever you are in the world for that. So this one's an introduction to Hermetic practitioners only. If you could bring that up, that would be really nice. So we'll have a look at the event. It's just filling up fast, which is really good. We've got some great aspects there. So get a taste of Hermetic magic, give yourself a spiritual boost, and receive healing and insights. So it's for practitioners, shaman, healers, mediums, psychics, teachers, and Qigong practitioners as well, so to develop that. So if you could bring that up, please, Jeffrey. Thank you. It says, it's the one that says Hermetic magic.
Can't find it.
It's at the end. It was the last one I sent you. Okay. So day one, it'll be healing and clearing old energies. Manuel will be doing that one. Then day two, I'll be teaching meditation bodies, so the physical and the spiritual connection as well. Day three will be healing, cleaning, balancing, and aligning with new energies. Day four, obviously teaching meditation, astral body, astral space, and the astral plane. I'll take people through that, really develop those sorts of skills. Yeah, there's some brilliant stuff, we'll be covering, that's for sure. Yeah, there's a lot. Day five is another healing, cleaning, and balancing with Manuel, and then day six, we're going to teaching the meditation and the mental body, mental space. I'll be taking that. Day seven, healing and teaching. So they're consecutive, day after day after day after day. So yeah, it's quite a progressive.
Yeah, and if somebody's doing like so many days, but there's one day they can't do, is there a recording, or do you?
Yes, they will get a recorded version of the day before, or we'll work something that that they can work with as well. It's going to be it's going to be comprehensive. They'll be looked after. It's something that's going to be a benefit for all. Like it's just send. I'll just move this. I'll send it to you again. Okay, see y'all.
So is there anything else as apart from that?
Yeah, just go back up, please, Jeff. Just go back up to earlier at 6:01 p.m. You'll see Introduction to Hermetic Magic. If you could bring that up, please. It's about 6:01 p.m. And you'll see the two of us connecting. That, if you bring that up, please.
Well, you sent it after 6 o'clock tonight.
No, that was the time that I sent it to on the on your profile there. Okay, I'll just resend it. Okay, there it is. There it is again. Just see if you got it now. It's on my Facebook anyway.
Yeah, but
so
that's
have a
it.
look at it.
It only takes you there, mate.
Hit view event. That's it there.
That's it there.
Okay.
Yeah, go down and click on view event. No, on the little messenger. No. Obviously
Yeah,
not them.
Takes you back to their page.
Well, anyway, we can put it
Dragons
up
have got into the
afterwards.
system again.
Dragons into the system again. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Monday the 12th of February, 10 o'clock to 10:45, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So that's for New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, and ACT. So anyone who's watching from the UK, 10 o'clock in the morning would be 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah. It's where my pictures are, it was that I sent through. Oh, it's just it's about 3 down from there. That's where it was on the feed. So yeah, that's Introduction to Hermetics.
Oh well, we can put it afterwards for people to have a look. If they
Yes,
like
please. That would be lovely. Thank you. We created an event on Facebook anyway, so it's pretty advantageous that you check it out. It's gonna be good.
Fantastic. Okay, is there anything else, words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with today?
Yeah, if you want to check out any of the later workshops, just go to michaelsalchemy.com and just enjoy the Year of the Dragon. It's going to be a wooden year, so it's very airy and very ethereal. So yes, it's important that we heal, cleanse, strengthen, and balance. Yes, that's it there. That's it. Yes, it's gorgeous.
Lovely.
So we stay very much in tune with our own physical, mental, and astral bodies, and we put in a lot of energy to work more in harmony with Mother Nature, and drawing the energy of the planetary aspects as well, which is what we do in the advanced hermetics. We're tapping into planets, things along those lines. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, a little third eye to third eye. I mean, obviously in the Maori culture, they call it rubbing the noses, but that's just for show. The real bottom line is it's third eye to third eye and talk to your soul, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Ajna to Ajna. Yeah, you're connecting. It's an ancient culture. It goes right back into even to South America. They do it. You transfer energy through the eyes, through the matrix. It's very, very much connected to the Ajna center, and you go straight into the. It's like it's almost like Tantra, where the serpents cross over, or the DNA is transferred, because you're going through the sixth chakra. So its original name is the Kiss of Baphomet. So it's like you're connecting to the earth again. It's got such a strong connotation, but there are some documentaries on it as well. And I don't want to look at the dark energy, look at the positive energy of it. And it's very much related back to the ancient crystal skull technology that later they used the crystal skull technology. So what would happen with the crystal skulls, all the people in the tribe and the village, particularly the very, very powerful shaman or, witch doctors or, the enchantresses or the matriarchs would all put in the energy that they experience of their soul and go into the crystal skull, which is, of course, quartz crystal, which, of course, is a living stone, which absorbs energy. However, the original dragon queens would transfer this because they lived for, ridiculous amounts of time. So one queen, when the other queen, the lizard queens, ironically. So they would pass the energy to the senior queen would pass the energy to the junior queen and pass all the knowledge and energy of what had taken place over the years from that particular culture. So it was ingrained in the DNA. So it's third eye to third eye. So it goes straight into the pineal pituitary, the hypothalamus, and the medulla oblongata. You know what I mean? It's transferring all the energy into the eye of Ra, we call it, or the eye of Isis. So you're sharing the knowledge through love, wisdom, and advanced energy.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, as ever, very interesting, very enlightening. So thank you for being our guest today for the 7th show. It's been lovely meeting you, and good luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having us on board. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Well, we got there in the end, eh? So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and same time, same place next week.
Okay, that's right. Good luck with the streaming. Ciao.